Okay, my name is Jane, and obviously KOKO TV. Thank you so much for ordering an interview.
My pleasure.
All right, so firstly, we want to start with who is Miss Ezeani? I hope I said that correctly.
I am a content creator, a brand influencer. Yeah, that's pretty much about me.
So, how was growing up like for you before you got to where you are? How was growing up?
Right. So, growing up, I grew up as an only child of my parents, and they were not necessarily strict, but they were like overly protective of me, and I wasn't allowed outside much. I wasn't allowed to have friends, and yeah, due to that fact, I was always on my own. I would reading books, reading like a lot of books, even books that were like much more advanced than my age, and I would play a lot with that came out wrong, but yeah, I would play a lot by myself. Yeah, so that was it. Though I got a kid brother much later, like when I was I think around 13 or thereabout.
Wow.
The
Okay, I think that makes sense considering your skills and how you are able to play multiple characters. But we'll get to that. Now, I would like to know how did you venture into skit making? Like you said, you were the only child. Did that play an influence into gearing you towards skit making? How did you venture into that profession?
I had always had this flair for art, acting. I mean, I could do everything art aside singing. I couldn't sing. I could never sing. But I could act, I could dance, I could draw, I could sculpt, I could write.
Wow.
And at a point in time, it was like a lot of conflict of interest. I couldn't exactly focus on one. So I was usually a little bit here, a little bit there. Today I'm dabbling into this, tomorrow I'm dabbling into that. And for some reason, whichever I decide to take up, I'm like good in it. So if earlier on my Instagram page, sorry, I was doing all of these things. Today I would draw, I would post, tomorrow I would write, next tomorrow I would dance. But then I think the skit making it piqued people's interest, and people were like expecting more. So with time I had to focus more on that, and eventually it started bringing back money. It started generating money for me, so I had to focus more on that.
Okay, actually, when you look at skit makers in Nigeria, you are one skit maker that has chosen Nollywood to be your niche compared to other skit makers. Other skit makers can just do normal skits, or you might do normal skits, but you majorly do skits based on Nollywood, and you're showing also Nollywood prince and princess. So, how were you able to define your character? How did you land at that point where you said, "This is who I want to become. This is what I want to be unique with"?
So, like you said, the content creation industry, I think it's becoming oversaturated. The content, the pattern, it's like everything is looking the same. Everybody's doing the same. And also, owing to the fact that I like challenging my craft, this is one niche that I know can make me improve in my craft. Yeah, I used to do the Mama Chinas, I do the slapstick, cliche, mother stuff, but I feel that is it doesn't really challenge other aspects of my craft. You just have to put it there and then you're done with it. But with the whole Nollywood, it's a more holistic skit. There are lots of things involved. Like today, I would have to, okay, like last one I made about the mermaid. I never knew how to create a mermaid, but it came to me. I was like, okay, I want to do this. It's going to challenge me, but I want to create it. And at the end of the day, I was able to create it. And also, owing to the fact that it kicked off on TikTok, because I have always been on TikTok, but I started taking it like seriously around late last year, So one of the skits I posted there, it went like really viral. I think it gained like 3 million views in the first 1 week, and most of those viewers were they were foreign viewers. I got viewers from like the US, Australia, Mexico, like, I think even Asian countries. So I noticed that this was something they had not seen before, because a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, I never heard about Nollywood. Now I want to watch Nollywood movies." So I was like, okay, so this is like a niche I might like to gravitate towards more, because yeah, I feel a lot of my foreign followers, they are expecting that, and for now I'm going to be towing that line.
Okay, now it's still on Nollywood. Now you don't just do skits on Nollywood. You play multiple characters, because you could have gone down the role of doing a skit on Nollywood and you being one of the characters, but you still have other people as characters. So how were you able to? How did you get to that point where you said it's going to be Nollywood, and then I'm going to be the one playing every role?
Okay, on the part of playing every role, I like working by myself. I shoot mostly at night. I mean, like I told you, I grew up alone, so I was kind of used to being by myself. And also, I feel that when I'm working, I am the only one that understands more what I am doing for. So having to involve other people, I would need to get them to see what I have in my head. And at the time, I don't think I have the flair for that, right? So then the Nollywood part, like I said, it's the fact that it challenges my craft, one, and I think a lot more people are looking out for it too. And then three, it's like more unique to me, because when people see that work like that it's kind of my brand.
Yes.
Now, yes, it's me. So it's not like the Nigerian mother, everybody does that. Yeah, so it's for now, I think it's just my thing.
Okay, so you said you like working alone. So I think you would like to work with other skit makers, or maybe in the next few years, but for now it's just you?
I would like that. I would like to work with them. But then again, like I said, the part of working alone is what makes my craft. The fact that I play like all the characters. If I start inviting other people to come and feature, it will start looking like a movie, an actual movie. So yeah, I hope to work with people going forward. But for now, this is
Okay. So can you describe your creation process, like from the idea in your head to it coming physically? Because you said you work at night, you shoot at night. So can you describe, like, we want to understand, because a lot of people feel that skit makers, they are just people that social media is helping. So we want to know the effort that goes into it from the idea. How do you pick your movies?
okay. So the one I made about the mermaid, I was going on TikTok and I saw a sound, that sound, and the moment I heard that sound, I was like, this sounds Nollywood. Yeah, what could fit into this? And I'm like, okay, it's talking about water. What could I possibly do with water? I'm like, okay. So I know I've seen a couple of movies where the arrogant princes, they always find themselves in trouble. So I started stitching it together. I'm like, okay, there's going to be an arrogant prince and there's going to be a maiden from the water. So how do we make them interact? Okay, let's say he's hunting, because he needs to be hunting to meet her. So that was how I was able to come up with that. And then I already have my costumes and I shot. And the mermaid shot, I didn't have any idea how I was going to do it, but I knew I was going to do it. So when I was done shooting, I started editing, and I was able to like craft a fish tail, animate it, and at the end of the day, it gave me what I wanted. Yeah, so that's mostly how it works for me. I could be seeing a movie and then something clicks. I'm like, this cliche, I want to work with it. I could be listening to a song and then something comes to mind. I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to use this. Like the other one I made for the part 3 of the village love. I knew I needed to make a part 3, but I didn't know what exactly to be. So I was listening to my compact collection, and that song came up, and that immediately came to me, and I'm like, okay, this is what it's going to be.
Okay, so you said you edit. So are you literally like a one-man mopo? Because it's seeming like you know too much now. Just like Bonambo said, your problem is you too savvy. Like only you is acting, only you is editing, and most of your skits you use like the right settings. I think you use chroma. Like how do you do that? Because not all skit makers know how to edit.
I do everything myself. One of the fun of content creating for me is the fact that I do all these things myself. I know if I'm to become like a proper, I can't possibly be everything. If I'm to make it bigger, you can either become a producer, an editor, an actor. At most, you can be only 3, right? But I think the fun of it is the fact that I'm a content creator. It gives me the liberty to come up with my own story, shoot it myself, edit it myself, and while I'm doing this, I'm learning, because I never actually learned editing. I learn on the go. Like currently, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn that. That is like a very much more complex editing app. It's basically what Hollywood uses in anything you can think of. CGI, all those things. So I'm trying to teach myself that, but everything I learned on the go.
Wow, I give it to you. Thumbs up, you're doing well. Okay, so how have you been able to balance fame and your personal life? Because if they're listing like the top 20, top 10 skit makers in Nigeria, your name would definitely be on that list. So how have you been able to balance Chinasa, then to Miss Ezeani? How are you able to balance fame and then your personal life?
Right. So if I tell you that I've learned how to handle it, then I'll be lying. Every time I go out and people recognize me, I'm like, oh my God. But I hardly go out though. I am mostly always home. So, but the times I'm out, I just try to be jovial, when people recognize me, because I've been in instances where people don't understand that you are human too. Things go on with you. So there have been instances where people met me and I wasn't just like in that chatty mood, and then I came back online and I've seen stuff like I am rude when I meet people. Hello, what's your name? Nice to meet you. Like,
So you said something about people not knowing when you're in chatting mode. So what is your stance on trolling? Do you think that there are some celebrities that is certified? Everybody knows that this celebrity is rich, but I see the celebrity is not going to say hi because it has happened over and over again. So what is your stance on trolling, and do you think some celebrities deserve to be trolled?
I don't think trolling is nice. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody have stuff they're going through, right? People have stuff they're going through, and you would never know. So, trolling never helps. If anything, it makes matters worse. And then about the celebrities that people say are rude. Personally, what I always tell people: if you don't like someone, if you feel your values, the person you are, don't resonate with someone else, avoid them. If it's on social media, do not follow them. You can even block them. You can mute them so you don't see them. This life is too short to be stressing yourself. If you know that, okay, this celebrity, they say the person is rude, and you shouldn't judge people by hearsay. You can always have your first-hand encounter, right? So if they're not nice to you, just carry on, move on. Not everybody, you're not jollof rice, but not everybody will like you.
Okay, so have you been trolled before? Have you had a trolling experience before?
Yes, I have. I had it a lot when I was starting out. Then because I was doing something every other person was doing. So people, every time you drop skits, people would troll you. They'd be like, you're copying this person, you're copying that person, you're copying this person, you're copying that person. Right. I think currently now, in recent times, I can't say I've received any trolling.